Hey guys, it's Julie from Plan to Create, and I am about to finish off the rest of my month for December in my weeklies, and I thought I'd bring you along. But part of that process for me is flipping back through my November pages, so I'm bringing you along with me here, kind of giving you a feel of what my pages generally end up looking like, and I'm just taking little mental notes of what things I liked, what things worked, what didn't. You can see I have already decorated the first month of December, and I'm commenting here, I'm thinking to myself here how I've started that scheme. And in November, my month was choppy because I did this stupid birthday week that I didn't end up liking. So I'm kind of battling this out in my head right now. Like, okay, I've started the month of December in the blues with that planner spot kit. So I'm just agonizing over this huge decision of whether I sprinkle in red or I keep this subtle color scheme throughout the entire month. I think you're going to see as I pull out the supplies in the next frame ahead that I find a way to go from this blue start of December here with the planner spots kit. I can work that in. I can add a little bit of these, the lightly inked leaves, and she has some other ribbons that are going to show up in a minute. And then this new company, Skosh Paper Co., has some pretty just festive Christmassy designs that I think will marry kind of some of those blues and head me into the direction with the little pop of red that I want to go for the holidays. All right, so enough talk. Let's get to it. I am anxious to get these beautiful stickers down, and they basically help me bring my pages to life. I want to start off by saying this is possibly, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but this could be my last Hobonichi plan with me. It has been a treat to work in this book the last few years. This is the first year that I feel like I have really seen it through all the way to the end. Even though I started in March, I feel like I started the year in this. And part of what I've loved about this book has been this sidebar. So for me, I like to put decor on my pages. That's honestly, a huge part of the paper planning process for me. If you can't tell by now, I obviously like some deco on my pages. But the reality is I'm a little bit scared to put stickers just anywhere. I don't want to put it on Thursday at 2 o'clock and then later have an appointment scheduled exactly at Thursday at 2, right? So this sidebar allows me to add a little bit of flair, add some personal touch to these, bring them some flavor of my own, and also not feel like I'm entirely sacrificing function. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I am not the most functional gal out here. I have some fears about putting inked paper in the wrong place and having to later scratch it out. So obviously, I'm a little bit of a mix here, but this video is primarily going to be kind of walking you through the process of me just laying out each sidebar each week and then kind of how I come in and add appointments. As I turn the pages, you'll see I already have appointments on there for a majority of things if I know about them ahead. And then what I do in this process is I, put some of my familiar things in. I'm marking down, my happy meal that I'm expecting in the week. Here I'm pulling out a little marker just to be like a saver spot so that I can add a check mark sticker if I have completed my workout at the top or if I've posted on social media at the bottom. And then I'm getting really risky here, but there are some spaces that I know week after week that are basically empty. So this is one of those. I don't typically write anything right there. Sometimes I'll do like a off the list of like things I checked off that day in that section. But for the most part, I'm just doing that digitally on my phone. So I just don't feel the need to write everything down that I've done in my planner. This book is meant for me to be able to come back and be like, hey, how active was I? So you'll see my step tracker there in the sidebar. Or did I work out like this week, this month? And this is what the things that the big overall things of like, am I living the life that I say I want to live? Am I doing the things? Am I planning the meals? Am I moving my body? I'm not really interested in if like I folded a load of laundry that day, So everybody has their own degree of what they want to track. Mine is pretty high level here, or at least it's just tailored specifically to me. So I love adding this little stamp in here. I'm a little nervous. You see me kind of peeky behind. It's a new ink that I hadn't really tried yet, but it seems to be okay. I think I do another flip to show you kind of what you can see on the other side. It's not bad. And I'm actually like pleasantly surprised. Every time I think I can't stamp in the Hobonichi, something else works out and it's not that bad. You can kind of see that dinner plate through the next week, and that's a little bit annoying to me, but I think I just decided not to continue it. I just went ahead and if I do throw another stamp over that, it's kind of like it was meant to be. And it wouldn't hurt anything. I'm literally at the end of the year here, so it's like I can do whatever I want. And I'm kind of telling myself that too, as I'm adding a little bit of extra bulk this couple of weeks. It's like, it's the end of the year, like this is the time to throw in any bulk or any stuff that I maybe hesitated to do earlier on in the year. Obviously, this is kind of a little a little glimpse into my brain. Like, this is pretty much how things go around here. I set out to plan a week, and suddenly I'm flipping to the next week, and I'm like not adding in my appointments yet, but I'm distracted by adding the stickers. Like, welcome to my world. I'm dying to use this pretty wreath, and I feel like Christmas week is the perfect opportunity to do it, and it's just such a nice statement up there. I don't mind that it covers the calendar a little bit, and I do set it off the page just ever so slightly just to kind of center it in that space. Oh, and then we're bumping back. I realized, oh, I should have stamped out all of my weeks for reading. You're going to see I flipped to this week 1, and I'm not sure if I'll be using that one, so I do a little bit here and there, but I don't really decorate it. It's kind of January to me, and I'll probably be wanting to be in my new planner by then, so primarily I'm just seeing myself through the end of December here. This ribbon is like, go big or go home, and I just went for it. I mean, I eye those ribbons, and I'm not usually a lover of red, but for some reason I just think they're so pretty, they're so festive, and if I'm not using them on these pages, I don't know what I'd be using them on. So this is the time, this is the place, and I'm pulling them out because they really are beautiful, and they make such a great statement. As I'm jabbering about my planner, I'm kind of negating to point out some of the supplies, but those little steps stickers, my friend Stephanie, who owns Scotia Paper Co., she helped me get those exactly so that they would match up with my reading stamp. I just wanted that like same font, that same look. She was super patient with me, and she just happened to have that Carrie Bradford reading stamp also, so she could really like play around with it at her place and identify when she had nailed it. So thank you, Stephanie, for working on me with that, and I'm really happy to have that little addition there. It kind of cleans up my sidebar instead of like me handwriting my own stuff. The other thing I want to mention is that I'm using these Carrie Bradford Madeline stamps. I used a slightly smaller one in the, I think, week 49, 50 range, and then this one I'm pulling out the bigger one. I love this XL set. I didn't mention it, but you're going to see if you're really paying attention, I had, it's, oh gosh, tuxedo black memento. That's what it is, memento. That's what I'm using when I stamp onto the sticker paper. But if I'm stamping directly to my Hobonichi page, like with that little reading stamp and some of the other more delicate designs, I usually pull out my Studio Calico inky black, and it just is like dry. It's kind of, it doesn't show up that great on sticker paper, but it shows up perfectly well on the Hobonichi, and it doesn't bleed through. So those are kind of my two black inks that I rotate back and forth, and it just does depend on what surface I'm stamping onto. Okay, I want to mention really quick here too, you're seeing me use these stickers. They're kind of a washi paper sticker from Scotia. They're not like transparent, they're not matte, but they are so forgiving, and I'm about to give you this example. I'm just like wanting to put all of these stickers on here, and that looks crazy, right? Like it's a little clustered, and unfortunately I recognize that. But I love, did you just notice that? Like it was on a sticker, so it did pull off better, but it was so easy to just pull off. And even if I had just stuck it to paper, they're very removable. If you're careful, they're reusable. But I would say that they're very removable. And I think even, yeah, this one maybe, I know I do some fussing here. I'm not exactly sure how much fussing, and okay, total tedious fussing here. Yes, I've decided to cut off a little portion of it. I really want those red berries on there because they're just bringing in that little bit of extra red to go with the bow. So I'm just determined to keep them on there. I think I end up coming back with the little piece that I cut off. I find a little space for it there. So it's still kind of clustered and a little bit more congested than I normally do, but 'tis the season, right? If you must know, it's December 9th, and we have our tree up, and the lights come on every night and every morning, but there are no decorations there. So all of my creative, like Christmas decor energy is being poured onto these pages, and it's basically just because we'll be traveling throughout the holidays, and I can't care. I can't muster it up, and you know, when you don't have kids at home, it's just different, you guys, and don't judge until you get there. All right, now the fun part. You're gonna see me stamp this out, and I squeeze those together, thinking, it's a narrow strip of clear sticker paper. That's what I'm working with here. And I have been doing this lately where I'll stamp it onto the clear sticker paper and then just draw a couple of lines because I want it to have some type of a border. But I abandoned that one. I just felt like, I squeezed them too close. So this one, I'm like, come on, give it a little bit of breathing room. I can go all the way to the sides. I like that one better. And then I come on and I draw the lines on here. And it doesn't need to be this difficult, but it is. It's truly difficult. So I come in, I draw them, but somehow, watch this. It's magic. What the heck? So I don't know how that happened, but I came back there, did it again, but then it kind of made a weird smudgy smear at the top of that, so was not satisfied with that either. So you're going to see here in a second that I end up cutting it off. From this vantage point, you're probably like, what the heck? It looks fine. but for my eye, it just was bugging me. So I cut those off and I decided I'd just draw those lines directly onto the paper. It would be an easier surface to work with. So I'm just gonna stick this on there into the sidebar. And this one ends up a little spatially wonky, I will say. But you know, it's just kind of fun to let sidebars just kind of have a way of their own, and I enjoy creating them and just kind of seeing what happens. I don't really have a strict recipe. If I did, that would get a little bit too boring for me, so I like to mess things up a little bit and put the numbers here and there, and sometimes you end up with awkward spaces and other times you're fine. Again, kind of determined to find a space for this holly sticker, and I'm trying to eye, is there a smaller one I can throw in there? Looking at the little deer, like what could fill that space well. This guy lands over here by the bow, and oh yeah, I know what I do. I add a little this week sticker. I think that just kind of tidies up that space. I like it with that border strip, and I think I leave the open space and call it good. So I had already zoomed it up double speed, but now I'm going triple or quadruple or something like that, because basically from this point, I'm just coming through with some of these little details. I'm adding in my step tracker. I'm going to add in a few stickers on some appointments that I already had written. I'm going to realize like, oh, we arrive at the Airbnb. Oh, we need groceries. And that is, I will say, part of why I enjoy this process. Obviously, I enjoy the creative process of doing this. Oh, that's funny. I decided not to do the whole week. Do you guys see that? I'm not going to use it for January 1st, but I might use it up until the 31st, so I'm giving myself that, that chance. Anyways, obviously the creative part of this is really fun for me, coming through and adding stickers, but it is helpful for me as well. It is not just purely, play. As I'm doing these, I'm generally starting to think through like, oh, wait, this event is this day? Like, oh, that affects this, So I think it is helpful for me in that sense. But obviously, I'm not going to lie, it's just fun, and I just think it's pretty, and it's kind of my way of getting in touch with some paper and stickers and, calling it productive, and I think it's partially productive. I'd like to claim that. So I'm throwing in some washi on here, so I'm still enjoying mixing kind of some of that blue in with the green and the red, and I think it ties in nicely, and just trying to kind of divvy out like what colors do I not see here on the page and which one should I maybe add a little bit more of. But for the most part, I do this initial decorating, and then I don't really do anything else until the week of. Like I basically come through and just add stickers and spaces as I see them. Okay, I changed my mind on that cute little icon. I decided like, no, we need the big car. That'll be so much cuter. Again, I get to add a little bit of a different color over there, so it kind of helps balance, and I think that that's fun. And these little Cafecito stickers from Lightly Inked are just so cute, and I only have them for like a month to use, they're Christmassy. I don't get to use them throughout the rest of the year, so this is my chance. I'm going for it. But that's pretty much it. I'm kind of winding down here, and I'm going to try to stack all my sidebars together, give you a shot of that. But if you're interested in like a still shot or a better view, make sure you're following me on Instagram. I generally post my stills over there and give a little bit better sneaks on that platform. But otherwise, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoyed this last peek inside my Hobonichi Cousin. Excited to see where 2025 leads us all. Take care.